On today's episode, we have another interesting coach, Mr. Andrea Pintore. He's a UEFA B coach, currently working with soccer shooters in Bristol, and he also works independently as a coach at local schools. Glad to have you, Andrea. Why don't you tell us about your early years in Italy as well as your journey so far?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, actually, Ryan. Well, so I actually moved to England uh, quite a while ago. It was back in 2006. Um, but yeah, before I was like playing football. I've been playing football for an Italian academy as well. So that was based in my um, native actually region in Sardinia. Uh, yeah, used to play football there. I played up to the national level as well, Serie D. Only for a few months because then I decided to leave my country
Yeah.
and move to England. Yeah. So far, yeah. So I started doing a bit of coaching back in Italy when I was like 16, helping a friend really, who was actually my first coach back in the days. And then I sort of actually stopped coaching for a bit once I moved to England. I don't even know. Probably it was like too busy, like trying to find my new life in a different country. But yeah, and then start coaching football with an under 19. That was only because my son actually joined the team, and I got basically boom, got full on with that. Yeah.
Well, I think that's
Um,
yeah, that's quite a journey that's taken by a lot of football parents. But yes.
yeah. No, I know. Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Yeah. So why don't you tell us about your role at your company, Soccer Shooters? Tell us about Soccer Shooters as well as your role as an admin and a coach.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as I say, I started like coaching with my son, and then I sort of, the that desire to become a better coach like was raising within myself actually. So as I was like looking around, and then I found this company, Soccer Shooter, was like it was something different because it was an independent company really. Yeah, and and that Soccer Shooter really inspired me to become and to be the best of I could possibly be. Yeah. So when I started there, I was like just basically an helper. Yeah, I was like helping uh, to run sessions and stuff like that. So and eventually I became an head coach and then a lead coach, and yeah, I got offered as well to become part of the management team as well, become an admin, part of the operational team as well, which has been absolutely fantastic. Because I'll talk more about Soccer Shooter as well, because it is an absolutely successful company. So they started quite small, helping at the grassroots clubs around Bristol. So basically, they were providing coaches to those clubs because sometimes you find like clubs that they haven't got parents that they want, they don't want to step in and help their kids as well. But yeah, so that was like basically the first thing. As they grew up, sorry, they start like introducing other features in the company, basically in the business. So they were starting to run their own sessions. So they had basically they had session every single day of the week,
Yeah.
except for Sunday, because Sunday was more like about grassroots football. So they were doing like sessions every day of the week, basically. And so I used to run my session on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, basically pretty much every day, as I said. And then they start integrating futsal as well as part of their curriculum, which has been absolutely fantastic for me. It's been another another part of my development as well, and I love futsal, to be honest.
Yeah.
And then they became an holiday camp provider as well. So they were providing um, basically uh, how can I say, like, open up for those holiday camps for kids that they wanted to play football, but even like to our parents as well, where when school was on break. And then because I was always been very interested in supporting very young kids, they eventually started as well working with very young
Yeah.
age kids, and I really love that. Yeah.
Right. So I'm gonna carry on with the fact that you have coached very young kids. So I was mesmerized when I read that you have coached kids who are 18 months, 1.5 years old. So now I just,
Yeah.
yeah,
So yeah,
yes.
no. I love that. I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was just,
So
intrigued that what was your approach like? Can you give examples of activities you conducted, the overall
oh
experience?
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So first of all, I started with a company called Little Kickers. Yeah. So I think they are like a massive. So I think it's something that started in Canada, if I'm not wrong. I can't remember now, but it's like from um, a pediatry, just how to develop kids at a very young age. Obviously, I mean, we are talking about something different. It's not football. Well, it's not the football that we might see. Yeah, it's like it's their football, let's say. Yeah. So I think, and the parents' help was fundamental for them as well. Yeah. So as I said, starting from 18 months old. So the main focus was fun. Yeah, making those session exciting for the kids and for the parents as well, because you wanted the parents to be an absolutely standing point for the sessions itself as well, themselves. Yeah. uh, so it was like based on every week we had a theme to run. Like that could be a jungle theme, so you were running like, I don't know, that could have been a crocodile. You were moving, making uh, football obviously development, but within like uh, movements, balance, coordination, the
Yeah.
main objectives for those kids. Yeah. And as I say, fun was the main thing. So you were like creating a theme every week. It was like basically it was like telling stories to them, uh, and yeah. And as I say, parents were an absolutely active part of the session every week. So we were like having because obviously kids are very shy at that age. You might have like kids that are more extroverts, and they get themselves straight into the game, or and it was like based on as I say, running across rivers, yeah, or jumping over the crocodiles, or I don't know, swimming in the
Right, right. So,
uh, in the sea, something like that. Every week was something different. We were doing like movies or cartoons or stuff like that. Yeah, Paw Patrol, for example, that kids love.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and it was movement based, really, more than football. But obviously, like football was, yeah,
Well,
the
so then,
main activity.
so then, how did you maintain the attention span?
As I say, that's basically we had a very small session groups, yeah, obviously. So we had between 8 and 12 kids every session, and it was me as a lead coach and another helper. Basically, we were like setting up the session. So we had like a full gym or a full 3G, so we could set up the pitch straight away, so we could jump from one activity to another, and again was like making the each and every activity colorful and making lots of noise and
Right.
be loud with the parents, be loud with the kids as well. The kids love that, obviously. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
uh,
the
yeah.
the fact that you've been successful coaching kids at that age, I'm sure any other age group that's thrown at you, it'll be a piece of cake for you. But now, on the flip side, I mean, just playing devil's advocate here. So of course, one thing is that in a formal environment, you're training kids that young. But then there's also another belief, which is that, a lot of academies in the UK, they prefer not taking players of such a young age. So what is your
No, absolutely.
opinion? Yeah, so what's your opinion on introducing kids that young into a more formal kind of environment, controlled environment?
Well, obviously, you see, that's personally talking, like from my personal experience in an academy, is, I mean, and it's obviously it's quite difficult. Yeah, sometimes you've got pushy parents as well. Yeah, that they want to push their kids to go into academy at a very young age. Um, I'm not. I'm not that obsessed with my children going to academy at that young age, actually. So I want them to enjoy football uh, every single time, because otherwise, if you start like seeing football as something that you have to do because you got picked by an academy, and then you start losing that interest, you start losing that enjoyment, you start losing that uh, excitement as well. I think that will is when you're gonna actually start you know getting away from that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, and as I say, for me, it's like obviously when we talk about that young age, yeah, it's more like about, as I say, having fun. We don't make just like football as football, but you might actually play something else. It could be uh, uh, throwing catch, something like that. It's a little handball or dodgeball. It's like all of something that makes everything in that sort of in the context. Yeah.
Right. So anything to develop the motor skills and keep it fun simple.
Exactly that. Exactly that.
Right.
Exactly.
So now, since you specialize in the younger age groups, the parents would be a big stakeholder, I'm sure, like as you had mentioned that they are helpers, they are all around. So,
Yeah.
I have two questions here actually. Number one is that have you ever had any parents who have kind of perhaps, with the best intention, perhaps interfered, so like got into you tried to get into your role and maybe try and control things? That's the first one.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You always get those parents. Yeah. So like uh yeah, not with those the very young ones, but I had last season, for example, I was like with my under 13. So I was like said to my players that, so if we, I'm not a big fan of like kick and run, yeah. So I'm more like, I'm not saying playing for the third or anything like that, but it's more like if we have the ball, with us, we enjoy like keeping the ball. You can be yourself, if you wanna show like skills and everything, you'll have fun, yeah. And some of the parents were not that into that idea really. So they're saying like, oh, if you kick the ball long, you actually not gonna concede goal, because if you lose in your defending third, they can score straight away. So it was like, okay, I get your points, but in the long term,
Yeah,
what they're gonna learn? So you can learn to kick and run 16, 18, 20, 25,
yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
I think that confidence to play under pressure, or that confidence to be creative, to be yourself, actually, is something that you need to start, I'll say, like pretty early. Yeah.
Right.
Obviously leaving the decision to the players, but if you guide them you know to express themselves, I think is probably the best way. Yeah, obviously parents could be quite, as I say, pushing away, and
Mm.
but yeah.
Yeah, well, that's always going to be there, but great point. And my follow-up question is that since parents play such an integral part in the journey of a youth player, do you have any tips, any advice for to parents on how they can, effectively support their child in their youth football journey?
So absolutely, with a very young age, is like just give them a ball, let them play. Even if it's inside the house, they don't need to smash the ball against the wall or plants or anything. Just tell them like try to use your feet, try to use your hands. That's actually part of the development as well.
Yeah,
And they start like falling in love with the game, really, with the ball,
yeah,
getting that confidence as well. And when they might join a team or they might actually go to open session like the soccer shooter ones,
yeah,
they had that they will have that confidence already to play with other kids, to manipulate the ball or even be coachable, like from the coach's point of view, actually.
right, right,
And I
right.
think it's something that I've seen on Twitter a lot is that the football journey starts at home.
Mm.
Parents are, if as a parent, you just, yeah, you want to pass that patient to them, but in a nice way.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so now
Yeah.
something related to coaching. So, the younger the age group, the more the emphasis on focusing on fun rather than winning.
Oh, yeah.
Now, while that sounds good and while that is something that should be followed, as coaches, sometimes we may allow passion to prevail, and there might
Yeah.
be certain moments where it may not be that in its truest sense. So, as a practitioner in the younger age groups, how would you say coaches can practice sticking to purely focusing on fun rather than winning?
Well, I say obviously this is has to be. You need to be adaptable. Yeah, first of all. So you need to adapt yourself to the keys that you have in front of you, so that if it's a 3 years old group of kids, you need to think as they do, yeah.
Mm.
So that how can you make fun what those kids actually like, yeah. How can we adapt the football learning
Yeah,
to them, okay, so that they can play football without even thinking, and they are enjoying that.
yeah, yeah,
So, and again, and that could be, it will differ for under 14, yeah, or under 10, obviously. And again, that's part of your, I think it's part of your development as a coach, as a practitioner, as, uh, adapt yourself you know, to the
mm,
people that you have in front of you.
right,
uh, Make their journey, not yours, really.
right, absolutely.
Uh,
All about them.
yeah, and as you said, like fun is, you know, fundamental for them. So make it fun.
Right.
Make make noise, make as I say, colorful is something that kids like. Yeah, so use lots of cones sometimes, lots of beeps. Lots of different type of balls as well. Squishy balls, like something different. Again, you adapt to those kids, adapt to the environment.
Yes, just being innovative for sure. So now,
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, now working with younger players, of course, there's an emphasis on technical development. So are there any ways to accelerate
Yeah.
individual development for younger players in the technical aspect?
Well, again, that's developing them like technically is more, it's more like having them playing with the ball, really. And as I say, that could be done in various way.
Right.
uh so for example, one of my way to develop like kids at a very young age was using like futsal ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, futsal balls, yeah, like sides one, the very small one, because obviously like their feet are still very little, yeah.
Right. Right.
So using those like futsal,
Mm.
using the sole of the feet, or like encouraging them to touch the ball in a different way, even like throwing the ball and try to uh, kick as the ball was coming down, something like, small steps every day with
Right.
the younger age groups. Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, as they grow up, and if if you're working with under 8 or under 9 or under 10 or even under 14, so you adapt yourself
Yeah.
to what they need. Yeah. And I'm a big fan of uh, an ecological sort of way to coach. Yeah. So uh, I'm not a big fan of like isolated practice for, especially in grassroots, yeah, because you only have like them for what, an hour and 30 minutes every week. So you want to maximize that time, yeah. So I usually do lots of 1v1, or I might actually do technical session like, you know, uh, each one of them with a ball, dribbling in small areas. We might actually call for the with the young kids. We might actually call a color, and they need to, I don't know. We put like flat markers, so they need to run into those colors and something like that. Yeah. So again, it's adapting yourself to what they need, and yeah,
Right.
again, leave the fun in the session. Yeah, don't take the fun away from the session, because otherwise you're gonna lose the focus, and yeah.
So, from my understanding, I think it is more of you try and maximize the touches on the ball and to try and keep it
Exactly,
more game realistic. So, when you mentioned about not
exactly,
having
exactly.
isolated,
I love like 2v2 games, 3v3 games, or 3v3 plus three or something like that, plus one or plus all this kind of stuff again. Even I actually play. This is a great game actually. Um, that I learn with in futsal. So it's like playing 5v5, yeah, and using three footballs, for example. So you've got lots of actions in taking place. They have to think about uh, which ball should they go? Like, should they defend or should they attack? It's again taking that decision that is better for that moment, yeah. And it's a great game. Kids love that. They love it. Yeah.
well,
Uh,
from my understanding, you're an encyclopedia of innovative training activities. Yes, so thank you for that. I think this is again great reference, for
That's
all
great.
the viewers. Yes, and you have mentioned futsal quite a few times. So in
Yeah.
your view, and I completely agree with you, it's been well documented that futsal has numerous benefits technically for footballers, especially the younger ones. So if, let's say, in an ideal world, futsal is available to players, how often would you recommend that they participate in it?
Well, you see, that's obviously. I mean, at a younger age, I think I'll go futsal every day. As
Right.
in, like, if I have to choose between futsal and football, I might go to futsal. Yeah,
Wow.
because it's more. I think it builds your confidence
Right.
much more than football itself. Probably because you've got that the futsal, which is easier to control. It's a bit heavier, but it's easy to control. So it gives you that confidence. Say, oh wow, I'm actually really good with the football. I'm actually, yeah, I can control the ball nice and easy. I can pass it. Uh, and I think even in you can sort of like try different things as well in the course and play small set of games and everything as in football, yeah. Uh, but if the way that futsal actually engages with the player is absolutely beautiful. It's just fantastic. So I think I say obviously it's different. Like you can do futsal twice a week, for example, and play maybe another sport as well. Because as you mentioned before, it's like developing those motor skills first of all.
Right.
Uh, but obviously getting that confidence as well to play with your feet. Uh, but yeah.
Absolutely. And why don't you tell us about your role of as a coach, under 14 boys coach of at Bath City?
Yeah, so well, that's the basically my first team. I started with Bath City when this is my group of player actually. For me, that's the most successful things actually. I had this group of player from since under 9. So that's the 9, 10, 11, 12. 13, 14. That's the 6th year, actually. We're moving into under 15 this season.
Right.
So that will be my 7th year with them.
Wow.
And I've been able to, well, not myself only, but yeah, we basically maintain the core team. So pretty much every single one who started under 9 is still in the team. So that's for me is that means success for me, because
Right.
I've been able to keep those players with me every single year. And like, yeah, because it's usually 14, 13 is quite a difficult years when they start, they sort of like starting to approach this GCSE in here in England, yeah. So they might actually start losing that passion for football. But yeah, so, and they all actually guaranteed me that they're gonna come next season, so I'm super happy. Yeah, so last season we had a very tough season. So we moved to a different league, which is probably the toughest league in the southwest area in England,
Yeah.
the Bristol League. Quite physical, so we are not a physical side, not at all actually. We got told too many times that we were the kindest team, too kind, the kindest team in the league, but we could play football,
Right.
so which is great. It had been it has been a bit of an impact last season, moving from our local league to that league, as I say, quite physical, quite tough. But after the first year, this season we had a brilliant season. Yeah, absolutely brilliant season. Yeah, so
Well,
we got fifth in the end, which, as I say, I don't mind about the final result, but it's the way that those players actually developed, like in the last 2 years. It's been absolutely fantastic. So that confidence, even that last season we've been losing quite, a few, but this season, like, everything has changed actually. So they're that confident, playing so well with the ball, playing so well without the ball. They got much more uh, competitive in a nice way, yeah. So yeah, we need to put the effort in. It's, and that for me, again, that's for me is, yeah, it made me
100%.
so happy at the end of the season.
Well, I think tremendous success is that the retention rate, that how many of your players are still with you. So I think that
Absolutely.
definitely can be measured as success. Now you have
And
also,
going back as
yeah,
well, and
yeah,
going back to the parents, stepping into in my role actually. So they came back this season and say, you were right last season. It's like, oh wow, that's brilliant.
right. So now you have also organized football birthday parties. Now this is something that a lot of coaches like myself are completely unaware of, especially in the parts of the country, parts of the world that people like us work in. So can you tell us all about how do you organize football birthday parties? What do you do? Everything about it.
So yeah, absolutely. It's basically, so what we do is, so basically what we have like different packages, yeah, for birthday parties and stuff, yeah. And obviously, again, that's something that we adapt ourselves as well to the environment. Yeah, it's not like a football session, as in the football session that we expect as a coach to do, but it's more like, again, it's fan based. So we do football, but in a different way. So we might actually play different like sort of games, and then we do like small tournament like King of the Courts or something like that. Obviously the birthday boy or the birthday girl is always at the center of the party. We get medals as well for all of them. We do a little trophy engraved as well with the name of the
Yeah.
the birthday child. And again, we have like different gyms or sports hall, or or 3G pitches that we could use during this birthday party. It's like very successful thing actually,
Yeah.
and kids loved our birthday parties. And as I say, because we do have lots of kids now. I think we have more than 600 kids in all our sessions. Yeah, all day camps and stuff. Uh, yeah, so holiday camp is a very successful thing actually, and that will sort of yeah, add up with the birthday party and everything like that. Yeah,
Right, right.
birthday
Nah,
party is lovely actually because this is something that you have to adapt yourself, because you might have kids that they love football, but also you have kids that are there because celebrating a birthday with the friends. So you need to find games and activities that involve everyone.
right, right. Well, I'm sure it has great potential. And you've been very humble about your journey. I mean, playing in the Serie D, I'm sure that's not something everyone can do. So that's been brilliant. And you've coached kids of challenging ages. You've done a lot of things. So why don't you tell us, what does the future hold for you? What are your future plans?
Well, yes, yeah, I've taken a little break from soccer shooters from my actually full time role. Yeah, uh, and I'm now helping them with maybe like session now and then, or birthday parties, as I said. Uh, Only because I wanted to focus in seeing other coaches actually coaching. Yeah, different type of coach, even like adults and like coaching adults and coaching academies. So I'm like going around every now and then and watching a lot of other coaches coaching.
Right,
Uh, but yeah, the main focus is futsal at the moment, as I said, which I love it. But yeah, I don't know. I've been like with kids quite a long time now, and I've got this idea to start like working with adults as well.
right.
I've got a little plan from next season. Really, that's just a short-term plan. Nothing too serious though. Uh, which is an under-18 team.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, so I want to see that. How can I further develop as well myself in with that. Yeah, with that. But
Within
yeah,
the group. Yes.
within, yeah, exactly, yeah, exactly, absolutely.
Well, great. I really hope, you make that a success like you have with everything else you have done. And just before we go, one last question. So, you had mentioned that you'd like to observe other coaches. So that gives me the impression that you're big into CPD, into developing yourself. So now
Yeah,
you've
absolutely.
you've been very helpful in the, I would say, WhatsApp coaching community. So you're a part of a WhatsApp group of coaches. So
Yeah.
where you've circulated some good information. How helpful do you think it is for coaches to also be involved with virtual platforms like a WhatsApp group or anything else to further develop themselves?
Well, obviously, I think it's great because obviously you can exchange like ideas, different like views, different methodologies, and as you say, information. They might actually send you video of like the team playing. They always like to be honest, they are like, I think those the, this coaches community that we are in, it's absolutely fantastic because like coaches are always there, so they're sharing their own practices and asking for feedback. Uh, and it's like it's actually great because it seems that each one of them, each and every one is actually mentoring like each other's out.
Yeah, yeah,
So which is great, helping with anything. If you need any ideas, if you are stuck in somewhere, like how can I do this, and I can uh, make that extra step to, or what is like the UEFA B gonna give me, or how can I, it's absolutely great. Absolutely, that's a great tool to have and to be in, actually, because he's, yeah,
Well, brilliant.
100%.
Yes, it's definitely something good to have on your phone. So that brings us to the end of the podcast, and it's been an absolute delight to talk football with you. Some great ideas, I'm sure a few ideas you have given are going to be used in my next session plan. So yes, I think it was a wonderful chat, thoroughly enjoyable, and yes, I hope to, have you on the podcast again sometime soon.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Ryan. I really enjoyed that. You've been absolutely brilliant. Thank you very much. Thank you
Like
for having me.